What's up? Semen retention. Men can't beat their sexual urges. And what I mean by can't beat them, there is no quick fix. There is no, I can handle this one time and never have to worry about it again in my life. That's something we're going to constantly, go through. It's going to constantly be there. You got to understand you're a human being too. You're going to have sexual desires and stuff like that. And it's so dangerous, and that's why it's so hard to defeat lust with a lot of times because, it's in us biologically to be that way, and we develop dysfunctional habits and attachments, to doing certain things sexually, and it's not right and it's not healthy for us to do it, and so over time it hurt us, but it's like we can't stop because it's in us. You get what I'm saying? And so that becomes a really big problem, and one thing that I've realized, man, is I know it's never going to be a time where I'm never going to have urges and I'm never going to have temptation. I know for the rest of my life, for a very long time in my life, that's going to happen every day. I'm going to have urges every day. I'm going to have temptation every day. The only thing that's going to help is if, my willpower to not give in to it every day, and to not give into it at all. I just think it's gonna be something that take time. Not take time, but I think it's something it's gonna always be there, and I just have to wake up every day and choose not to do it. So a lot of times you just have to take it one urge at a time, one temptation at a time. You know, I don't think you can really ignore it. You kind of just have to sit with the feeling, but just not do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what make it so hard. Because and I think that's why a lot of guys be so deep down into, what I'm saying, an addiction to watching porn and masturbation because we always feel that it amplifies our natural instincts, for sex because we build an attachment to it, so we get addicted to it, and then it's like, well, this isn't really sex. We just tricking our brain, but it's consequences when you do stuff in a dysfunctional way. So it's gonna hurt you mentally. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, if you have a wife and you have sex with your wife, you're not gonna have any bad feeling or any type of mental side effects or anything like that. You're gonna still feel regular. Nothing's gonna feel bad about that. You're not There's no consequences mentally to that. You get what I'm saying? But your mind don't know the difference. So, but at the same time, it's a consequence behind it. So it's like your mind kind of do know, because when you masturbate and stuff, guess what? You basically committing the same act you would do in sex, but you're using your hand instead. You know, but when you do that, you feel bad after it. You don't feel bad after you have sex. You feel bad after you masturbate. You get what I'm saying? And so we have to understand that, and understand there's healthy outlets to do stuff, and then there's unhealthy outlets to do other things. It's unhealthy outlets, and then it's healthy outlets. You know, and when you do anything dysfunctional, it's gonna have a consequence, and it's so dangerous because, like I said just a few minutes ago, it's literally in us to be sexual. It's in us you know to do things like that. You know, So it's very dangerous when you get attached to something sexually, because your body is not going to be able to help but keep desiring that, you know? And that's why I feel like, the desire to go and masturbate gets stronger and stronger the longer you do it, because you're literally rewiring your brain to be attached to masturbation and not sex. And that's how, I've said this before, like my first sexual experience, basically, it was a very bad one because, you know, I had porn induced erectile dysfunction where, okay, once I got around a girl, I no longer felt aroused. You get what I'm saying? Because I wasn't used to doing a real thing. I was so used to doing it just with my hand. You know what I'm saying? Which is just embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. And guys got to understand that's reality, and you want to be away from that. You get what I'm saying? And so that was a very emasculating and embarrassing moment for me. You know, Luckily the girl wasn't so like mean to me or rude to me or made me feel any worse about it. But yeah, man. I mean, it's just a daily battle. It's not something you're not gonna. It's no quick fix to it. There's no one, day where you just get over it and then you never have the problem again. Cause I don't believe a lot of times when somebody say, "Oh, I just never had an urge to watch porn again, so I just never watched it again." I do believe you can do that, but I don't think it's easy. Like it's not just easy as just saying it and boom, I never have the urge again, or I never have the desire to watch porn again. 9 times out of 10, if you form an addiction to it, you have to choose daily not to do it. It's not like you're not gonna have that desire again. You're gonna have that desire again. You're gonna have that temptation again. I'm telling you, you're gonna have that temptation again. It's just, you know, do I have a strong enough why as to why I'm not gonna do it? And you have to take it one day at a time, one urge at a time. It's a daily battle. It's not something that's just boom and it's done and then everything is, good now. That's not how the world works. That's definitely not how our body work. And so it's just, consider it a blessing, guys, that like if you haven't if you defeated, you know what I'm saying, or you've went a long streak on semen retention and stuff, and you're you just feel better and you feel like you can control yourself, man. I'm proud of guys like that, and that inspire me. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep going and to know that I can do it. And you know, it's benefits, bro. Like you gonna become better as a person, and it's a whole lot of good to it, man. It's really a whole lot of good to it. And one thing I kind of want to do too, man, we have to get more men knowing about this. You get what I'm saying? And it's not any guy that actually been on semen retention know that this is not fake. This is not any type of um it's not a placebo or anything like that. But I wouldn't go and tell guys, boom, okay, break up with your girlfriend and get on semen retention. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I want guys to know the importance of sexual energy. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like guys need to constantly understand that throughout their life. I don't think it's just boom, tell somebody about that one time. No, they kind of have to understand that throughout their whole life, especially in their younger years, just because that's when you have more, you know, you're more impressionable and you're just more prone to doing stuff that's not smart. You're just more prone to falling into stuff like how I fell into, just I fell into the addiction without before I even knew it was bad for me. So that's why I feel sad for a lot of kids. Like I have little cousins I see and stuff, and I know they moms and stuff don't really. I don't know what they tell them, but I wish when I was younger, my dad sat down with me or my mom sat down with me and they told me to never ever masturbate and never ever watch porn. You get what I'm saying? I wish they really got serious with me and told me to never do that. And so, yeah, I just feel sad for sometimes with a lot of younger kids. I see them, they on their phone all the time. And I see that they haven't ran into the problem yet. But as you get older, you get more curious about sex. Because I remember when I was 12 or 13, I didn't care nothing about girls. I remember I had a girlfriend at the time when I was like 12 or 13, but I didn't care about having like I wasn't concerned about, sex or anything. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't concerned about any of that and I was so carefree and I was confident in myself. I felt good about myself. But guess what? When I turned 14, I start seeing, you know what I'm saying? I started like, everything just kind of start getting amplified, you know, that's when I discovered watching porn, and that's when everything kind of took off from there. Where I got super interested in sex, and I got super kind of just That's when I developed like this extreme nervousness around girls, and that hurt me. But that's all I got to say, man. Peace out.